thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Tuesday, March 19th, and today is National Backyard Day. That is not for all that backyard. It's not for all that backyard boogie. No, that's all that boof outdoor weed. No, it's not for that. No, it's for you to have a nice day in your backyard, maybe a barbecue or something. It's also National 3D Day. For all you people that live in the metaverse, and you know what I mean.
I prefer 4 dimensions.
All those little goggles people like to wear. It's also National Certified Nurses Day, so shout out to all the nurses. Nurse Lisa, we know a bunch of you watch the show, and so we appreciate you, all you nurses out there. It's also National Poultry Day for all you chickens.
Get that chicken.
Exactly. It's also National Let's Laugh Day, you guys, because you guys always have some funny jokes. Yes, and it's also National Chocolate Caramel Day, because everyone loves some chocolate and caramel. That's right.
Yeah, they do.
And thank you for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look somewhere on the screen to see exactly where we live on the internet, and we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off first, that's right. He figured out how to appear in studio today. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh, yeah.
Crowd goes wild.
We got a full house. We got a full house today, man.
Yeah, look at this, bro. Look at this.
It's Dude Tuesday.
Yeah, look at but Yarrow wore a pink shirt, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's he's a pink taco today.
A pink taco.
I was gonna make a taco joke after the Dude Tuesday, and I figured I would bite my tongue because I didn't want to be too on brand. But Rico, since you did it for me, I thank you for your service to the show.
It's all love, my brother.
Pink tacos.
So for my story, we're gonna head into a little bit of celebrity action today. All right. So one glance at the ice on the necks and wrists of Lil Wayne and Post Malone may lead you to believe that they two of the coolest recording artists currently in the game. But looks can be deceiving because both are finding themselves in a bit of legal hot water today after a recent FOIA lawsuit revealed that both men may have lied about their respective touring companies' drug-free policies, allegedly drafted to secure tens of millions in SBA loans during the pandemic. Dwayne Carter and Austin Post, more commonly known as by the stage names of Lil Wayne and Post Malone, were among dozens of company head names received by Business Insider after filing a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the SBA. Per the article, Lil Wayne often smokes joints on podcasts and on stage, and the word baked is tattooed on his forehead. In 2019, he even launched a cannabis brand, and a few years before that, he told an interviewer that weed was one of the most important things in his life. But in 2021, Carter told the government that his touring company, Young Money Touring Incorporated, was a drug-free workplace. The dangers of drugs like weed were communicated to employees, he said, and they were told that they could be punished or forced to go to rehab if they violated them. Post Malone similarly told the SBA that his company, Posty Touring Incorporated, warned employees against using drugs. But in 2020, on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, he said that he made music while on hallucinogenic mushrooms, also a Schedule I drug since 1970. Again, last year, Post told an interviewer, yeah, I take shrooms. And while he differentiated them from hard drugs and alluded to the potential medical benefits, they are still banned. Documents received by Business Insider were signed by Carter and Post, whose companies received 8.8 appeared to question either's claims before cutting the checks. And there's no The agency's inspector general said last year that employees had just 4 hours to review applications with little time to conduct due diligence. Hope y'all got y'all money too.
7,000 applications and case.
Like Trump chaos. The Office of the Inspector General declined a request for comment on Business Insider's reporting, as its policy prevents from commenting on specific documents or confirming or denying investigative activity. The SBA did not respond to a request for comment. While it may seem like a stretch for the SBA to tie Lil Wayne and Post Malone's pandemic payouts to their drug law compliance, similar requirements have been in place for recipients of federal funds for decades. States and cities also sometimes demand to know what's in people's bloodstreams before cutting checks. So, several states have tried to require drug tests for welfare recipients, and San Francisco just voted to require recipients of cash grants to pass a drug screening. Business Insider says that companies led by Carter and Post were among the recipients of aid under the Shuttered Venue Operations Grant Program, which was meant to help struggling music venues to avoid bankruptcy. In 2023, BI spotlighted $200 million in payments from the initiative to big-name artists, many of them already rich and most of them clients of Los Angeles accounting and asset management firm NKSFB. As with many federal programs, recipients had to certify that they followed federal laws. In other words, freewheeling musicians who sometimes got by with a little help from their friends had to commit themselves to the kinds of standards more often applied to defense contractors such as Elon Musk's SpaceX, end quote. Some of the artists who claim to be drug-free have posted pics on Instagram of working in weed smoke-filled recording studios. Touring company for the dream pop duo Beach House. I don't know them. You know them, Jason? You know Yarrow? That's your jam? Beach House?
No, but I can help you buy a beach house. Right now, I'm working on a lake house.
In the middle of the country. The touring company for the dream pop duo Beach House, who NME reported blamed a festival snafu on, quote, too much MDMA, duly professed to be drug-free, but in 2022, the band's official Twitter account cheered the huge cloud of weed smoke that blew over the stage when they performed. Hell yeah, the Post said. Representatives for Beach House did not respond to a request for comments, nor did press contacts for Lil Wayne or Post Malone. SBA told grant applicants that they could be sued or even prosecuted for lying. The agency's FAQ page clearly states that if an entity is found to have made material misrepresentations on its application as part of a fraudulent effort to obtain SVOG funding, it will have committed an act of perjury and could be subject to various civil and criminal penalties. But so far, no one has been. And especially in the case of artists using weed, it's likely they won't because the changing norms around cannabis around the country. The Shuttered Venue Operations Grant Program was well-funded enough to cut a second round of checks to recipients, but some businesses that weren't very different from venues and stages did not qualify for assistance at all. Nanette Day, a retired federal agent who worked on pandemic-related issues, said lying to the government to get pandemic relief funds is outrageous, but she said agencies were trying to estimate and stimulate the economy and realized that some of what they were shoveling out the door would be wasted. They said, we will accept a certain amount of loss because we don't have the luxury of designing a foolproof program. But the threat of prosecution can spur settlements. Day said that some people who wrongly received Paycheck Protection Program funds gave the money back once confronted. With the amount of money both Carter and they'll have any issues paying the government back if found guilty of defrauding the government. Post Malone currently earns an estimated $500,000 per concert. Wayne, on the other hand, makes an estimated $600,000 per show and reportedly hauled in $105 million in tour earnings between 2020 and 2021 alone. It was that stimmy checks, man. Stimmy checks got him through. As a convicted felon, Wayne was able to evade federal gun possession charges after getting a presidential pardon from Jason Beck's favorite former president. But his past legal issues have prevented him from participating in several international shows, as many countries deny entry for individuals with rap sheets like his. Could lying to the feds in an effort to score pennies on the dollars routinely earned doing what he does best be the mistake that finally lands Lil Wayne back in the bang? I doubt it, but I'm no legal expert. I am Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, though, and I want to hear from the rest of the team. What do y'all think about this? These guys going to get popped? I think they're just going to get a slap on the wrist because it's America. They got enough money and enough profile.
Well, my first question is, how does Lil Wayne make $100 million touring?
Really, people want to go and see Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's a hot ticket. That's how he does it.
Yeah, he is multi-generational. Not to
mention...
like the old heads, like 40 up, the middle, like 25 to about 35, and then the young kids still like him for some reason.
Not to mention he hasn't had any stampedes at any of his concerts yet, where he's had to shell out millions and millions of dollars to victims.
I mean, here's the bottom line. If you don't get in trouble for a gun, you ain't getting in trouble for this. And on one hand, defrauding the government is about as American as baseball and apple pie, unfortunately. And on the other hand, we know that this is an antiquated relic from the fact that we have this, troublesome federal illegality. I mean, if you were to take the number of musical artists who compose their music on psychedelics and strike that from the discography of American culture, you'd be going back about 50 years and taking most of the good songs away.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk.
Yep, that part. That part for sure.
How lame American music would be without drugs.
We have an esteemed guest with us joining us this morning. How are you this morning? Why don't you tell everybody who you are?
I'm
welcome.
Esteemed guest.
Yes.
Today. That's me?
Yes, that's you. Okay. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Chris the Glove Taylor. I'm a DJ and producer and my friend and co-producing partner on most of my songs is getting a star today on the Walk of Fame, Dr. Dre. So Death Row Records in the building.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. So
Dre Day.
Yes.
Welcome. Did you secure that chain with some little SBA funding?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm his attorney. No comment.
Exactly.
So, Chris, what do you think about all of this with Lil Wayne? Basically, he got some government funding because he lied on an application saying that his company was a drug-free work environment.
Not just some funding, $8.9 million.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm trying to figure out where's the lie though.
Well, because he consumes cannabis. I mean, his tour bus has been raided by law enforcement in the past. So
several times.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So obviously it's not a drug-free workplace. I mean, you're a rapper. How can you say that if you're a rapper, you're a drug-free rapper? Those two things just don't go together.
Yeah.
He smokes on stage every single performance.
I always consider drugs anything that you got to buy with like a capsule or something like that on it. Cannabis and drugs to me, they don't match. So
okay.
Drug-free for me means about to come off the schedule. So if they're smoking weed in there, so is everybody else. They got money. They just out in their cars. I mean, what the hell? Who cares? Nobody got a drug-free workplace.
No one.
All crap, bro. There's no such
Not even the White House.
That's right. Well, we know the White House doesn't. We know they have a cocaine problem over there.
Then let's start there with the hot boys. They like to go,
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I think that's just another unfair stigma that they throw at rappers who are quite astute businessmen. This dude pulled $9 million, and most people didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos, bro, and screw the rest of. Can you curse on here?
Yeah.
Fuck those other motherfuckers who got a problem.
Yeah, there we go.
Everybody.
There we go.
There is no such thing.
Those motherfuckers.
Workplace. He said, "Look, you see this? I'm about to smoke this right now."
Yeah.
See
Not now, but right now.
I remember during Red Ribbon Week, okay, and everyone would get the drug-free red ribbons, okay, and I remember all the kids in my school, they would erase the D and the R on the ribbon, and so then that way their ribbons would say drug E.
Yeah.
They love those ribbons.
Yeah.
And they would go in the
For a
back of the
partnership for
bungalows and
Drug-Free
take some
America.
yellow jackets and run around our school.
Exactly.
Schools are drug-free workplaces, right? Yeah, let's start there. Let's go to churches. They're drug-free workplaces, right? Like, let's go to the
they get all
top
kinds
of the
of funding.
shelf of the most cleanest areas ever, right? Like, I guarantee you're going to find either a piece of crack, a joint, and guaranteed it's alcohol all through the motherfucker.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Drug-free, take away alcohol, and let's close all the workplaces and take all the money back.
Well, there goes the shutting of every precinct too.
And what about coffee?
Like they want a point.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody pointing at this 18-year Jack whatever in the cup.
Yep. All those judges that drink water that is allegedly
I know.
vodka.
Caffeine.
Yep.
Yeah, especially if it's
Get the
alkaline
hell
water,
outta here.
man.
Ain't
You
no
can't be
such thing
doing
as a
that.
drug-free workplace. Give him twice the money.
Give him twice the money. Get Lil Wayne.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Get Lil Wayne.
Get Lil Wayne that
Money, the
paper.
rich get richer, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's how the rich get richer. But on that, we got to go to we got to go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Coming up next, he's a dope dad. Some say, in certain regions of California that he's the dopest. Not down here. But he's also a second-generation cultivator and founder of Special Teams Consulting. Coming to the stage, it's the Sebastopol sage himself, Mr. Yarrow Kubrin.
And the crowd goes wild. Thank you very much, Rico. And great to be here yet again. High at 9 News here Tuesday, March 19th, 9:19 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you to High at 9 viewers and my esteemed cohorts and colleagues this morning. My article today is from MJ Biz Daily by Kate Robertson. And this is How R&D Cannabis Lines Help Cultivators Conduct Market Research. R&D cannabis lines, or limited edition small batch flower, create a line of communication between cultivators and consumers, enabling marijuana operators to conduct market research while still bringing in revenue. In addition to consistently bringing fresh genetics to consumers, brands that sell their research and development strains are able to collect buyers' critiques and evaluations about each product. The R&D line acts as a crucial feedback stage, particularly when deciding between phenotypes or gauging market reception. Miguel DeVivo, brand director at California-based cannabis breeder and cultivator Maven Genetics, told MJ Biz Daily via email. R&D cannabis lines can help brands choose which new strains, phenotypes, and product formats to keep in their regular lineups, survey consumers to better understand product attributes such as flavor, sensory appeal, and effects, create community and enthusiasm around new releases, and educate consumers about cannabis cultivation and phenotyping. We also occasionally introduce unique strains that might not be aimed at full-scale release, but offer us invaluable insight into consumer preferences, including those that might not be the best yielders, but are uniquely exceptional, DeVivo said. Selecting fresh genetics. Colorado-based Native Roots Cannabis Company, a vertically integrated marijuana operator, started introducing R&D strains to its stores 2 years ago. Jason McDonald, Senior Director of Production Operations, said in an interview with MJ Biz Daily. Since then, the company has tested 28 strains and no fewer than 20 phenotypes of each. That's 300, 600. That's a lot of strains. McDonald and his team carefully vetted R&D candidates, first sourcing seeds from breeders and evaluating each plant's vegetative, flowering, and finishing traits. Out of the 20 to 30 seeds, 5 or so that fare well during cultivation make it to the consumption testing phase when McDonald, the company's 2 head growers, and the senior manager post-harvest evaluate each jar of flower for visual appeal, taste, and aroma before and after the buds have been broken up. Native Roots internal testers also seek to identify each sample's place on the company's smell profile spectrum, which has sweet aromas on one end, sour on the other, and earthy in the middle. What we're tinkering with on this is that are we missing anything in our smell profile for our customers, McDonald said. And we're really heavy on fruity orange smelling strains. Maybe we don't have a cheese or a gassy smelling strain. Of the samples, the team selects 1 or 2 strains or 1 or 2 phenotypes of the same strain to package for consumers under the R&D label. A QR code on each jar of Native Roots R&D flower line directs consumers to an online survey where they can weigh in on the product's attributes and effects. This helps the company identify the appropriate categories such as creative, energetic, or euphoric. We really want to go through consumer feedback instead of just phenotyping or genotyping with indica, sativa, and hybrid, McDonald said. We wanted to get true feedback from consumers saying, hey, the majority of people felt this way when they smoked the flower. Out of 77 R&D products that have been developed at Native Roots, 11 have gone into regular production. New cannabis formats and blend. The Maven Genetics R&D line allows the Southern California company to test uncommon cultivators and new formats such as cannabis blends. For example, the company crossed its own Maven OG strain with Z Skittle and experiment in blending traditional OG qualities with a fruity citrusy profile, something that's not commonly pursued in OG cultivation, DeVivo said. We received positive feedback from our R&D line, and the new strain is now branded as Silver Iris OG and scheduled to be released this year, he said. Consumer feedback can often be surprising, Maven Director of Cultivation Chad Salute said during an interview with MJ Biz Daily. A lot of California consumers aren't excited about the apples and banana strain, for example, because it was so popular. At one point, it lost that novelty factor, or it had, Salute said, until he introduced a small community of connoisseurs to Maven's version. It blows them away, he says of the genetics. It's just the best version of apples and bananas. It's kind of reinvigorated their interest in it. Salute plans to offer the strain through Maven's R&D brand, though it might take some convincing. It's something that I have to push through marketing because of the feedback we got in the field, Salute. In addition to the new genetics, Maven is testing new product formats such as mini pre-rolls. The brand has also started co-packing blends of different cannabis strains. It's a stoner's world. We call it a salad bowl. Building brand loyalty and community. There's a huge appetite among regular consumers for novelty. So the R&D line also builds excitement, community, and loyalty to the brand, he said. Discounts and other perks are offered for incentives for delivering feedback to the company, but it also educates consumers about the different ways to evaluate cannabis and how to develop more discerning tastes. We request feedback on every possible aspect, including the strain structure, bag appeal, flavor profile, aroma, effects, and overall experience, DeVivo said. At Native Roots, R&D strains are priced between the brand's mid-level and top-shelf flower lines. Meanwhile, Maven prices R&D products lower as an incentive for consumers to try them and give feedback. DeVivo says he recommends other cannabis cultivators consider offering an R&D line if they haven't already. An R&D line is crucial for staying engaged with the culture and incorporating valuable feedback into the breeding and pheno hunting process, he said. It's a key component of our strategy to remain at the forefront of cannabis innovation. So let me kick this off before I hand this over to my fellow guests and panelists for their opinion, feedback, and perspective. The reason why this is news is quite simply because we don't have proliferation of consumption lounges and other places where people can legally, compliantly consume cannabis in public or in quasi-public environments. If we did, we'd be doing these types of focus groups in a much more overt and transparent way. And we've been doing it for a long time. We just haven't been doing it in a structured way. And so to me, this article is a representation of the normalization of cannabis migration into becoming a CPG product. I tried the Maven Genetics cartridges last year when we were judging the cup, was definitely happy with it. And I love this notion that they are gamifying or incentivizing their customers to provide that feedback, and not just buying habits and preferences, but in some ways when they're asking their customers to give them feedback about the effects, this is really like preclinical investigational level study data that one can glean if you have a big enough sample size. So I loved this article. We all need some good news, and it's great. Please, all of these companies, call me. I'll be on your R&D team. Don't make me beg. This is Yarrow Kubrin, High at 9 News, Tuesday morning.
Hey, Yarrow,
Not opposed to baking, though, are you?
Love this story, man. Big shout out to Miguel. Big shout out to my man Shane Ponto over there, and my guys over at Maven. They've been doing some fantastic shit for years now, and so happy to see them getting more shine every year. Like, it's fantastic, and I love this R&D sessions. And I'm with you, Yarrow. If they need more people, let's do it.
I mean,
I think it's only right.
Chris, you were pretty excited about this story while Yarrow was reading it.
Absolutely. I got into cannabis to be a testing lab and to render human testing forever, because I know that all these guys running their own liquor stores, I mean dispensaries. Did I say liquor stores?
Yeah, you said liquor stores.
So the corner liquor store where you get shot up, I see people getting shot at these dispensaries. I don't think they'll cashless. What the hell is wrong with them? Anyway, after the fact, the most important thing is what it does to humanity, and there's only one university in America that they allow testing results from. So therefore, there's no reason to have wide scale. This man here would pay for my testing setups, and we would have the right scale of doctors. All the men on this panel would be involved. You know you would, because you know we would all become billionaires from the data that we got. And so, therefore, congratulations to Maven. That sounds just like my company, the way they think. R&D, Paramount, that's what I am. I'm technical officer.
I feel like this R&D setup is a really good way to engage and really create a lot of brand loyalty with your consumer base. Now, it may be a lot more cost effective to release these into the market with the costs of testing and the fact that it's an R&D sample size, so the batch lot would be a lot smaller. But I think to get that type of feedback, if you had some type of like Scantron that they scanned on the back and you collected all their data and then all their information that they shared with you in regards to their experience while using the product, I think is genius.
Absolutely.
We do a lot of R&D testing. We do a lot of R&D testing.
It's a stickier, top of the funnel customer experience for customers to know that their voice matters, that the brand is paying attention. The brand wins, the customer wins. If they're incentivizing, that means they're offering a reduced fee. Everybody could use that. And this is the way customers want to be. You want to go into the Porsche store and tell them you want the lime green stitching on your chair. Everybody wants a degree of customization or personalization in the way that they spend their money and the products that they receive. And so I love it. And I really appreciated the Maven cartridges last year as well. I was not mad at their cartridges. I thoroughly enjoyed testing those. I think it's great that we're also seeing this, and this article covers the fact that it's in multiple states. So while California would love to take credit for everything cannabis, and pretty much we can, this is a good example of other mature markets employing the same approach. And this also requires a regulatory paradigm that supports it. And so having nursery licenses that allow for R&D canopy that could then be sold at a lower price, those types of things need to be structurally in place so that companies don't have to use their prime blooming area in some indoor facility that was very expensive for them to stand up to try small batches of stuff that might have great flavor but might not have great yield.
Yep. And you know what?
It's great, Yarrow, that Maven supplies weed for the people.
I am not surprised.
It's great marketing to involve your customer in making decisions about your next product, because your customer will be your customer for life, because now he had an opinion on something, right?
Yeah, he's part of something great.
Yeah, they feel like they're like they provided valuable feedback. So like when they buy something and it's actually trash, and they're like, hey, this is trash, like I would never want to purchase this again, and then they tell you that, and then you never sell it again. They feel like they really, you know what I'm saying, had their way with you.
Yeah.
Just because you're the source doesn't mean your information shouldn't be crowdsourced.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, Jason.
Question,
we
Stone.
should be demanding to be on the R&D teams and some of this boof-ass weed.
Well, I was just going to go into that with Stone.
Sure.
I was going to ask him if he had been ever part of any R&D teams over on the Delta 8 side out in Texas.
Get out of town.
Delta 8.9. It's top shelf.
I've had the same plug since before Delta 8 was a thing, so you can stop throwing the Delta 8 shit.
Oh, man.
Get him, Stone.
Oh, man.
Get him.
It's like New York, Stone. It's like New York. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Don't throw stones when you're living in a glass house.
That's right.
Oh,
I
man,
agree.
you guys. No, this is fantastic. I think this is great news. I think more companies need to definitely get with this, and yeah. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad.
Big shout out to everybody involved in this. Big shout out to MJ Biz Daily getting out some good shit like this, making sure that even if it is a paid, piece, whatever, is getting out this kind of information is key to our, like Yarrow said, normalization further.
I don't know that it's a paid piece, but I definitely know that it's a puff piece.
Oh,
hey, I see what you did there.
Hold on.
Let me puff.
Yeah. Puff pieces we charge for, so I'm pretty sure that wasn't a puff piece. Just saying. Just saying.
Let's keep this party
going to keep this party rolling. We're going to roll right on into the great red state of Texas, where living in Austin, the best thing about Austin is that you're surrounded by Texas, and that's where this man is, Mr. Stone Slade, the man, the myth, the legend. That's right. Mr. Stone Slade.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adam, for... Hold on, I got to go back to my... Yeah, took care of my green screen envy. I appreciate that, my friend.
We got you, bro.
Today, my story is about wine, so please forgive me ahead of time. I had to bring the cheese. We've got a real kerfuffle unfolding in the heart of El Dorado County. Picture it. Vineyards as far as the eye can see, a little slice of Napa with a twist of reefer madness. That's right, the local wine maestros, led by Randy Rossi, the Pied Piper of Pinot over at Saludi Cellars, are up in arms. And they're not just stomping grapes these days, they're stomping their feet over the green wave of cannabis farms rolling in. For 25 big ones, Rossi's been the ringleader of grapes greatness at the Fair Play American viticulture area. It's like being knighted by the wine gods with a whole lot more paperwork. You have to petition the federal government to recognize it, Rossi said, and you have to have certain characteristics in your soil, climate, even cultural considerations are given. But now there's a new crop on the block. 7 acres of cannabis, greener than the Emerald City, has got the green light down on Perry. Rossi and his vino virtuosos are seeing red, and it's not from the wine. Their beef? Well, they say it's the water, but let's cut through the Cabernet, shall we? These grapes gurus claim that cannabis crops are guzzling H2O like it's going out of style. Rossi says, that's a huge number for us, and we're going to fight this. But here's the kicker. Yours truly did a little digging, and I found a study from just 2 years ago by San Luis Obispo County saying, hold your horses. Turns out a gallon of the good grape juice might just be the real Aquaman in this kale, out sloshing cannabis by leagues. It says 1 pound of cannabis takes about 150 gallons of water, or equals about 10.58 cups of water for a 2-gram joint, while a gallon of wine needs a tidal wave of 870 gallons. That's like 54 gallons for your crappy 8-ounce Merlot. So what gives? If the grapevine's drinking more than the ganja, why all the hullabaloo? Chris Perry, El Dorado County's Assistant Director of Planning, assures us that there's more scrutiny here than a high school dance chaperone. Everything gets multiple sets of eyes. In fact, when a project application comes in, it receives what we call an agency review. He says this about their process, but Rossi's not having it. This has to be revisited, Rossi asserts. We're one of 2 of the county's primary agricultural sectors, and we won't back down. Get ready for number 3, moving on in. Is this just the old guard getting skittish about the new kids on the crop? Maybe it's time for vineyard veterans and cannabis cadets to join forces instead of tossing around water woe tales. Imagine a world where Pinot meets pot in a beautiful, sustainable tango. That's a pairing that I would toast to. In the end, maybe it's not about Merlot versus marijuana. Maybe it's about finding a groovy groove where both can jive sustainably. Because let's face it, in the battle of the bud, whether it be grape or grass, the only real loser is an empty bowl or a dry glass. I'm Stone Slade. Thank you for getting high and nine with me.
Yarrow, I want to hear your comments on this one, man.
Yeah, I stuck around just
to deal with this.
Yeah, I stuck around just because I had to, because Stone brings choice content, even though I do need to do the Irish goodbye. So, in certain communities, agricultural communities with a history of both vineyard production and cannabis production, such as Sonoma County, but not just Sonoma County, we've been having wine and weed symposiums going back probably 8 or 9 years, because we recognize this natural overlap when it comes to land use, labor, zoning considerations, highly restricted industries, as well as the fact that they pair really, really well. And so first, the grape growers were afraid that the terpenes from the cannabis were going to mess up the flavor of their grapes. And then there became this call about the water usage, because especially in California, who isn't concerned about the ongoing intermittent droughts that we have and the impact that has on all rural communities? And what we found, at least in Sonoma County, was number one, cannabis was the largest cash crop of the county, irrespective of the number of acres planted. And that was like, they didn't even want to brag about it. They put it as an asterisk at the bottom. And then number two, even though cannabis used more water per acre than grapes, the cash flow that waterfalled, all pun intended because it's dad joke Tuesday, the cash flow that waterfalled on a per acre basis from grapes was much higher than if you grew some Pinot. And so if you boil it down to $1 per milliliter of water usage, cannabis is a better use of water in terms of the income that it produces for farmers. And that doesn't take into account what we talked about yesterday about dry farming and other techniques. So I think that winery people in general are either totally on board and they get it and they're like, look, Coppola did his collab. I want to get into the cannabis space. I already have a great farming crew. Or they're sour grapes.
Give this man a hat clap.
Finishes with a pun.
This guy, cute Yarrow, very, very cute. Well, I mean, I'm not buying the whole water shortage argument. What we actually have is a lack of critical infrastructure to hold all of the water that we actually get, because we dumped a bunch of water into the ocean recently after our big downpour that we had just a couple of months ago. So I'm not buying this whole thing that we have a whole big water shortage. I'm not buying that.
Hold on. You're going directly against your favorite president's words, where he said the exact opposite.
I'm just telling you, I just because I'm going, that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? He can be wrong too.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up.
I told y'all, man. I told y'all Joe Biden is emerged as the pro-cannabis candidate, and Jason is slowly turning to
Let's go, Slade.
Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap. I'm Trump all day, bro. You guys are tripping. You guys are tripping. No, not a chance. But here's the thing: is now this article makes me think that this is why there's so many industries against cannabis. This article is exactly why there's so many industries against cannabis, is because they are all worried about the resources that they are getting, because they are over exorbitant in supply as far as what they are taking of the resources. And once cannabis is, and just like Yarrow had stated, is a better use of resources for what you get out of it, a lot of these industries are going to die and go away, and they are worried about that. And this proves that.
Yeah, I'm glad they can't get mad about sunlight, because they'll be like, "Oh, the cannabis guys are taking more sunshine."
Right.
I mean, they do. They do that with us with the electricity, trying to say that it's all bullshit.
Just don't want the competition in the marketplace.
Exactly.
They know the consumer rather smoke weed than drink wine. The big shift happening against alcohol and for weed, and they're nervous and they're scared, and they're going to any avenue they can to try to prevent it.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Budweiser has the biggest.
Haters gonna hate.
Yep.
That's right.
And Budweiser's not even an American company anymore.
Ooh-wee.
It's a Belgian company.
Yeah. They're about as that's why they're not number one, right, Jason?
That's not why you're talking about Bud Light, and shout out to Modelo, the number one beer in America.
Shout out to Mexican beer. That's it.
Is that the number one beer in America?
I mean, it is Taco Tuesday, Rico. I don't understand what the hostility is all about today, man.
I say no twice, and I will chug me a Dos Equis, baby.
Well,
keep this party going, man.
We're gonna keep this.
We're gonna roll it up. We're gonna go to commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna. Hold on a second. We only covered 2 stories so far. We're going to a story.
Come on, dear leader.
They're clowning in the chat.
Yeah, we're going to a commercial. We're gonna be right back. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
All right, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the stories that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And make sure you head over to our other website at cloudmedia.partners and purchase your tickets for the shit show, which promises to be an amazing event. Fun night of comedy over here at the studio, and we're going to be turning up. So head over to www.cloudmedia.partners to purchase your tickets now.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get yourself a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
That's right, baby. I'm Smoky Vanilla. With my background in kinesiology, I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on athletes who have chronic pain or injury due to their sport, or the legends of the chronic in the game, baby.
Oh, yeah, you know what it is? We just stretched, and now we're gonna smoke, because you know what it is.
That's right. I love intuitively creating a session based on the individual I'm working with. We'll go through a few assessments, look at the past health history, injury, or anything that's still affecting you today, and create a customized session just for you. Let's go. Woo!
Oh, yeah. He goes by White Gucci in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He goes by Gucci Blanco down in Florida when he's at Mar-a-Lago. But here we call him Dear Leader, the heir apparent to Kim Jong-un when it comes to cannabis.
Cute. Cute.
Coming to the stage, y'all know who it is. Dictator Supreme himself, Jason Beck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dictator
Cute, Rico. Cute. I'll tell you what, Rico, this is for you. This is some stuff we've been talking about back a long time ago at High at 9 News. So this is an update on a story, even though we haven't talked about this in probably 6 months. Because lawmakers sign off on expanding medical marijuana licenses for black farmers. That's right, Florida lawmakers for the second year in a row have signed off on expanding the number of medical marijuana licenses earmarked for black farmers, opening the door for 3 applicants who lost out earlier. Expansion of the medical marijuana licenses for black farmers was included in a wide-ranging Department of Health Bill SB 1582 that also addresses such issues as septic tank inspections and screening for newborns and pregnant women. I don't understand why they always include all these extra stuff that goes into bills, because you put a whole bunch of shit in bills when you put them together. So anyways, a provision added to the bill in the last week of this year's legislative session would help at least 3 black farmers who had sought medical marijuana licenses but were deemed ineligible to apply by state officials. Passage of the bill is the latest twist in a drawn-out effort to allow black farmers to join the state's cannabis program, which has exploded in size since voters approved the constitutional amendment broadly authorizing medical marijuana back in 2016. If signed into law by Governor Ron Meatball DeSantis, the bill would bring to 6 the total number of potential lucrative medical marijuana license earmarked for black farmers with ties to decades-old litigation about discriminatory lending practices by federal officials. A 2017 law that provided an overall framework for the industry required health officials to issue a license to black farmers with ties to the litigation, known as the Pigford cases. The law also required prospective licenses to show they had conducted business in Florida for at least 5 consecutive years before applying. State health officials had begun accepting applications for the black farmer license in March of 2022, and 6 months later announced they intended to award the license to Suwannee County-based farmer Terry Donnell Gwynn. 11 all of the 11 other applicants who lost out challenged the decision, including Motion Hopkins. Hopkins was the top scoring applicant, but the 84-year-old Ocala area grower died before the state's decision about the license was finalized. Part of this year's bill, however, appears to clean the path for Hopkins' heirs and partners who have launched numerous legal and administrative challenges in their quest for a license and to have at least one court appeal pending. The bill sets up a 90-day cure period for losing applications that meet certain criteria, including if the applicant died after March 25th of 2022, which was the last day to apply for the licenses. In quotes, in the case of the death of an applicant under this paragraph, the department must issue the license to the heirs of the applicant, the measure says. State health officials deem the application submitted by Hopkins and Hatchet Creek Farms, LLC, of which he owned 51%, to receive the top score in 2022, but they maintained his death put him out of the running. Hopkins' team did not have a comment when asked about the litigation, and Senator Tracy Davis, a Jacksonville Democrat who helped shepherd this year's effort to expand the number of licenses, said the proposed changes would help Hopkins' team as well as Leola Robinson and Henry Crusaw, two elderly black farmers who could not meet the state standards to show they had been registered to do business in Florida for 5 years before applying. In quotes, what prompted me to create the litigation that we submitted was those two applicants, but I also wanted to make sure this time we didn't leave out Motion Hopkins, Davis told the news source of Florida in a phone interview on Monday. The measure also would prohibit health officials from using the department the death of an applicant who was alive as of February 1st, 2024, but who died in the cure process or legal challenges are complete as a reason to deny a license. That could benefit the heirs and partners of Robinson, a 101-year-old Escambia County farmer who got her start in agriculture in the cotton fields, and Crusaw, a Suwannee County Nanogerian whose business registration also was in doubt. Davis said the provision was included in an attempt to ensure that we had our oldest applicants taken care of, they say. A law passed last year allowed losing applicants from the black farmers license to cure deficiencies in their applications, but Kershaw and Robinson couldn't do anything to meet the requirements laid out by the state health officials, Davis said. Representative Patricia Williams, Democrat from Pompeo Beach, offered the amendment that included the black farmer changes on March 5th, and that amendment bill subsequently passed the House and Senate, and Davis credited Senate President Kathleen Permesio, Republican from Naples, and House Speaker Paul Raniere, Republican from Palm Coast, for the success of the proposal. In quotes, we could not have made it happen without these two agreeing to the amendments, Davis said. If signed into law, the 90-day cure period could possibly open the door to other applicants who lost out in the 2022, according to Davis. Attempts to give black farmers entry into Florida's multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry have been riddled with problems since the inception of the state's medical marijuana program in 2014, when lawmakers authorized non-euphoric cannabis in anticipation of the passage of broader constitutional amendments. Black farmers complained that they were shut out of the applying for the state's original medical marijuana licenses because none of them met the eligibility criteria, which required applicants to have operated as a Florida nurseries for 30 years. The 2017 law setting up the framework for the industry tried to address the issue by requiring a license for a black farmer. However, the license was put on hold several years because of unrelated litigation over the law. When the application process for the black farmer's license was announced in 2021, potential applicants were hit by sticker shock because of non-refundable fee of $146,000, more than double what prospective operators paid in the past. And legal warnings over the denial of Hopkins' application delayed issuance of Gwynn's license, and lawmakers sped up the process last year by passing a measure requiring health officials to issue licenses to black farmers whose applications did not have any identified deficiencies. The 2023 law resulted in licenses for Gwynn and two additional applicants, Shredick McGriff and Willard Meeks, and brought the number of licensed medical marijuana operators in the state to 25. The industry also is poised to nearly double in size as state health officials sift through applications for 22 additional licenses required under the 2017 law, which set up a schedule for new licenses to come online as the number of patients increase. And meanwhile, the Florida Supreme Court is weighing a proposed constitutional amendment that would legalize adult use marijuana for adults 21 and older, and the court has until April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, you guys, to decide whether the initiative qualifies for the November ballot. Well, what do y'all have to say about this? Rico, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
Number one, it's quite fitting.
He's got a list.
Yeah,
you have a list. Number one.
They put this April 1st deadline on there. I think that's an Easter egg in this story. But but seriously, man, this dude died waiting for this legislation. They were supposed to get their shit back in 2016. And they're supposed to be at the front of the list. Like maybe if you're a black farmer, you don't have enough money to just like dump zeros and commas into Ron DeSantis's uprising at the forefront. This is what happens, right? You see, like, oh yeah, we fucked up. It's almost 10 years later. We're gonna give them a license. You know, Trulieve already runs the state. They should have had first cut at all of this stuff, but they were suppressed. And justice is sometimes slow, but justice do what justice. No, fuck that, man. It's a travesty. This played out the way that it has, and it's like way too late. His own descendants won't even get a cut of that license because he died fighting for it, man. So.
Well, they said it is getting issued to the heirs of the family, though, Rico.
What's that?
It is getting issued to the heirs of the family, though.
After all this pain, man, why are they
fighting for it? Yeah,
it should have been cut and dry. They should have never had any of this stuff go down.
But if I remember,
the pain and suffering they've been through all these years, watching all these white folks around them just get it right in the cartel state, the medical / industrial cartel state that Florida has become. They just watch all these people get money while they're just blowing all their cash on court fees trying to get what was promised to them. Can't get back them years, man.
I have a question. I have a question for you, Rico, because if I remember correctly, they were only supposed to issue out one of these licenses in the beginning. And now, because of all of this fight and everything, they're issuing out multiple licenses for this. So the fact that it expanded and more people are able to benefit from these licenses, do you think that was worth the fight?
No, because you're diluting their cut, what they were promised. You're still diluting the fair value of what was promised to them initially. Like, why do they have to be the ones that get, that push this out to absolutely everybody? Why can't we be first when we were promised something?
Well, because they wrote that law that's saying they needed to be a 30-year nursery owner in order to get a cultivation license.
They did write that law. They did write that law.
Right. I mean, that's where it all starts from.
Yeah. That's the Kim River special right there.
To grow weed in Florida.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. Talk about a manufactured monopoly, and a complete exclusion.
Say that again.
I was saying, didn't they put that 30-year thing in because a politician actually owned the farm, or it was somebody?
Yeah, he went to. Yeah, that's Trulieve. That's Trulieve.
That's Trulieve.
That's Trulieve, and her husband got federally convicted.
Really?
Yeah, he got federally convicted.
Who wrote that? Who lobbied that? I wonder. They're very good.
That's Kim Rivers and Trulieve.
Judging by modern day political newscasting, Trulieve, dude that got convicted and everything, that makes him a more relatable person to black people, right? Right, Jason?
I see what you're trying to do there, Rico. I see exactly what the difference. Can I tell you what the difference is? He's not running for president.
Yeah.
All right.
He might be VP. He
He ain't running for president. But on that,
they got friction. They got friction with DeSantis now. Trump might come in and scoop him up for VP. I don't know.
DeSantis needs to worry. DeSantis needs to worry about signing this bill first and get this program going for these guys first. That should be his first order of business.
DeSantis is he's a loose cannon, and after he got his. after he got wedgied and
I think it's because of his
wedgied and
boots.
swirlied all through this presidential campaign. He's going back.
I think
it's
it's
a pissed off little man.
I think it's because of his
what?
boots.
Like, we have no idea.
It's because of his boots, Rico.
He's happy.
Hopefully he
with
keeps those white
Florida.
boots on though.
Yeah.
Dude, those boots
Yeah.
are fly, man.
Yeah. We're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
Gotta get me some of those DeSantis ones.
Yeah, I bet DeSantis ones. Get ready for the 20-year anniversary celebration of the Emerald Cup. The Emerald Cup will be held at the Henry J. Kaiser Center for the Arts in downtown Oakland, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now for best pricing. Cannabis categories include flower, pre-rolls, solventless concentrates, solvent concentrates, cartridges, edibles, topicals, tinctures, and alternative cannabinoids. So enter early for your chance to be a winner at the 20-year anniversary Emerald Cup competition. All day, every day, bro. You ready, Rico?
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah? That was cute. That's cute. Coming up next, that's right, it's the voice, the golden voice of High at 9 News, Mr. Todd Denkin. He's the founder of DigiPath Labs and secured a bag with a recent sale. Not to mention, he's also the founder of the Smuggleverse, where you can find all of your digital dank. That's right, is none other than Mr. Todd Denkin.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody, as the crowd goes wild. I'm still looking for that big bag that Jason has claimed that I have received. So
Did you lose it in a poker game? Already?
Possibly. Right. Could be. Could be. My story's about cannabis education. Ohio Cannabis School receives an accreditation. The Cleveland School of Cannabis, also known as CSC, located in Independence, Ohio, announced it is the first cannabis school in the U.S. to be recognized through the Middle States Association, CESS, which we've all heard of. No, we haven't. Well, that stands for the Commissions on Elementary and Secondary Schools, which is an accrediting agency for certain secondary and post-secondary non-degree granting schools located inside or outside the United States. CSC wrote in a press release, accreditation of CSC by Middle States Association marks a significant step forward for the cannabis industry, driven by a broader acceptance of cannabis and its related fields within the formal education system. With over 1,100 graduates, CSC has already made substantial contributions to the workforce and knowledge base of the cannabis industry. Formal recognition could pave the way for further advancements in cannabis research, education, and professional development, bridging the gap between the burgeoning cannabis market and academic legitimacy. Technically, the college received accreditation in December of 2023, but the school only recently published the announcement. More than 130 years, Middle States Association, CESS, has been operating as a voluntary nonprofit association that evaluates and performs accreditation of both public and private schools. Accreditation demonstrates if a school is maintaining a specific level of quality performance through 5 categories: foundations, governance and organization, well-being, resources, and teaching and learning. Interesting that teaching and learning is number 5. The press release explained that this decision was made in part because the federal government is researching and discussing cannabis rescheduling, following a recommendation by the U.S. Department of Health to reschedule cannabis as Schedule III substance. CSC's recognition by the Department of Education could be an early indicator of changing attitudes within the federal government towards cannabis. Also added, rescheduling cannabis would acknowledge its medical benefits and could notably impact the regulatory landscape. It could potentially ease restrictions on research, banking, and taxation within the cannabis industry. CSC's accreditation was awarded in part because it recently moved into a new building with access to a grow lab, a processing lab, a kitchen, a mock dispensary, and a virtual reality lab. CSC's newest additions were developed to upgrade the learning experience for students to enhance student learning through practical hands-on education in cannabis cultivation, processing, cooking, and sales. This approach not only readies students for the cannabis industry's intricacies, also boost their job prospects by offering a deep dive into the sector. Additionally, CSC utilizes more recent technological innovations, such as VR and gaming engines, to create digital versions of their labs for remote students to utilize. For example, it hosts a 16-week My First Plant virtual course to teach consumers how to grow cannabis at home. Spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Education told the Canton Repository in a statement that while CSC is accredited, the school is, I quote, not approved by the department to participate in Title IV or other programs under the Higher Education Act. Students attending accredited schools are eligible for financial aid, but in this case, it's not clear that CSC would qualify. CSC has been operating since 2017 and has had 1,100 students graduate through its various programs. On February 29th, Cannabis Business Times published an interview with CSC founder Austin Briggs. Hasn't been easy running a cannabis business in Ohio, Briggs said. For things as little as occupancy permits, we had to fight tooth and nail. For a largely conservative state, Ohio citizens have shown wide support for cannabis, both medical and recreational. There seems to be a tremendous amount of resistance from the government in supporting cannabis programs in Ohio. The passing of Issue 2 and our accreditation, I'm hoping this will be a turning point for Ohio policy. CSC President Tyrone Russell also provided a statement regarding how school-trained students connects them with jobs in the industry. He said workforce development and education is the key to socioeconomic mobility. Companies have to hire people from their communities, and that only happens if those community members have access to education. Ohio, you can go to your Ohio Means Job office and get a grant to be a barber, a welder, a truck driver, contractor, even a nail technician, but not to work in cannabis. Other educational institutions have been increasing cannabis education over the past few years. In 2019, the University of Maryland announced one of the first medical cannabis master's degrees program. Since then, many other institutions have introduced some form of education program or degree revolving around cannabis. Last November, University of Mississippi School of Pharmacy announced a new medical degree in medical cannabis and dietary supplements. Earlier this year in January, Roanoke College in Virginia announced its launch of a new cannabis studies program. Commend the faculty for developing a transdisciplinary academic program that fills a significant educational gap. The Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dean of Roanoke College, Kathy Wolf. With this program, Roanoke College continues to lead in science, policy, business, community engagement. So Professor Dorothy Bell Poley helped to establish the new program. She said students are interested in this industry, being the first in the state to approach cannabis from a scholarly perspective, inventive and entrepreneurial. We hope to bring clarity, tough problems by creating a truly multidisciplinary think tank. Finally, Cloverleaf University in Denver, founded in 2009, is the only cannabis university approved and regulated and licensed by the Department of Higher Education's Private Occupational School Board. And they have trained thousands of students worldwide. I'm Todd Denkin with High at 9 News. What do you guys think about cannabis education? I think it's great. I think someone, leaving a school looking for a job in their field is promising. I mean, I hire chemists and microbiologists, right? So I definitely want them trained. And, the more training you can get in preparation for your job, I think is great.
It's like all schools. It's all within the educator, the quality of the educator. And if they have good educators, then this will do phenomenal. But if they have terrible teachers, like a lot of schools do across the country, then it's just going to be an utter failure, and people are just going to get gaslighted all day.
Yeah, they need to bring in people from the industry to teach those classes and to guest present and guest speak and talk about all the shit that you go through, right? All the shit I go through, all the shit everybody goes through, because that's the tough part about the industry.
I got to give a huge shout out to Austin and Tyrone, man. I met Tyrone last 2 years ago online when he was first getting going out here. But Austin actually is a good friend of mine that I played football with in college, also from Cleveland. Can't say his name, but he's involved in certain things. But introduced to him back in like 2016, 2017. And he actually flew out here to California to actually attend a few events and actually learn on the ground what was going on, and he was way ahead of the game of everybody else and getting this education out like way back then. Brought out all the gems that he picked up here in Cali and brought those back to Ohio, and just happy to see the genesis here. This is really, really dope.
You forgot one part of that though, Rico?
What's that? He
had to partner with Nick Lachey to get this off.
He did, but you know what, Jason?
Yeah.
Down in Ohio.
There we
Swag
go.
like Ohio.
There we go. Exactly.
Big shout out to Nick Lachey. Big shout out to John Boehner. Big shout out to Tenths, because Ace is what everybody else is doing. Ohio is doing it big right now.
Yes. Any thoughts on this, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that the thing most important to me about educating, I come from a family of educators, they need to make it some kind of trickery to get in, like a contest or an essay or some step, because then you weed out the people who just kind of want to do it to the people who really want to learn it. You get that, you get, ask people why do they want to do it, send an essay, come to this event, or some kind of a step. So then the teachers who can, if they make it interesting, this can be the most fun ever. I want to do a cannabis music school, agricultural and music, because most people who actually create music have a garden, absolutely, or plants. Like, it's a weird correlation. Kudos to the school for getting their accreditation, and hopefully everybody runs there to get their, actual degree.
Their actual, yeah. Well, like I said, we'll see. I wish them luck. I want people to be educated.
Yeah.
I don't want stupid people out there. So you know what I mean. And
when you're hiring,
maybe we should reach out to them, and maybe I should put together a class of how to identify quality product, so then that way we can work to eradicate boof.
I'll make the day.
Yeah, you should do a guest lecture course, Jason.
Yes.
Smoking how to identify the best and the worst in the world.
Exactly.
And I'll do one about rapper
Adjunct
weed.
professor.
Yes, and rapper
Jason,
weed.
you
Yeah,
can create
I'm with that.
Joe Biden, lobby to get this all done.
There is no lobby behind Joe Biden. It's just the deep state.
Joe Biden is in the lobby right now.
I bet. Well, I don't know, bro. All your guys' audio is coming in pretty good, so I think they're leaving us alone right now. But man, you guys, man, oh man.
I want to hear this last one from you, Jason.
I got one for you.
I can't wait.
It's a quickie.
I can't wait for this little quickie.
She said.
Yeah, it's a quickie. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel, you guys. That's right. Jimmy Kimmel is going to produce a marijuana dispensary unscripted series called High Hopes that's going to air on Hulu, you guys. That's right. Hulu has greenlit an unscripted series based in a Los Angeles marijuana dispensary. So emphasis on the green and the lit. This is fun. The TV for mature audience series titled High Hopes hails from executive producer Jimmy Kimmel as well as ITV America. It will consist of 6 episodes and will debut. Guess what? You guys come on. You can guess it already. That's right. It's April 20th. Come on, Todd.
20?
Yeah, April 20th. The official description for the series states High Hopes is a workplace reality series following Belarus-born brothers Salva and Mishka and their stoned crew through the trials and tribulations of taking their cannabis business to new heights. As one of the oldest cannabis dispensaries in Hollywood, MMD attracts a wide mix of weed-loving customers and is a home away from home for their OG employees who work hard and smoke harder. This season builds their biggest day of the year, 420, as the gang attempts to expand nationwide and release their own top-shelf cannabis brand. Will they find what they're looking for, or will their hopes go up in smoke? Oh man, you guys! And then it goes into all the people that are producing it and this and that, and if you guys want to know all that, you guys can go to our website and read the article. I'm not here to talk about all those people, but nonetheless, shout out Jimmy Kimmel, shout out Mishka and MMD. Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, big shout out to MMD, Mishka, and my guy Cyrus over there, man. Like big shout out to them, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
They're good people. They've been in this a long time, and I'm glad to see them get their shine. And I'm just surprised you covered this one, Jason, due to Jimmy Kimmel's most recent back and forth with your favorite ex-president?
He's actually your next president. You should refer to him as.
I live in the now.
Cell block C.
Tomorrow ain't promised, and yesterday already happened.
Oh man, I live in the future,
right
bro.
now.
I live in the future. I live in the future, Rico. You know, this is about to be the third time champ going on, you guys.
And Tyson's gonna win that fight.
Oh yeah, Tyson. Hey, have you seen the videos of Tyson been training?
Oh my God, it's crazy.
I thought
It's
Jake Paul.
crazy.
I thought Tyson was crazy, and he must have signed that contract while he was on mushrooms, right?
Maybe, but very possible.
Yeah, I heard about his episode of the Champ Show. He had to be early exit.
Exactly. But yeah, I've been watching these videos of Tyson training, bro, and I think Jake Paul's gonna have. He's gonna have.
Paul's
it
in
for him.
trouble.
He's in trouble, bro.
He's
He
in
don't
trouble,
know. Yeah.
Tyson doesn't.
I don't know. I don't know, man. If
I'm hoping that
editing is
Tyson
good.
bites his ear off.
You know, I've seen a lot of dope things on Instagram, and I've seen it in real life. It ain't it ain't come to fruition. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm really nervous about this fight.
I just feel like the
I'm
Tyson
really
brand
about this fight. What it means. Like there's so many themes around this thing. There's so many different themes. Like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You know, Yarrow's not on the show.
Is there? Hold on.
So
is there a
Vegas negative side of it?
Is there any good fun Vegas bets around this fight? Like what body part will Tyson bite? There's got to be.
Very possible. Possible.
I don't know, man.
I just think it's gonna be.
It might be the most watched exhibition spectacle in the history of boxing history.
And you know what? I want to know, just from an experimental side, I really want to know if he's going to be on mushrooms when he actually does do the fight.
Absolutely.
He said he was. He said he was.
He's going to fight him on mushrooms,
right?
Damn right. He's always on.
Yeah, when he fought when he did the exhibition with Roy Jones, he said he was on mushrooms.
No. I'm saying when he actually fights with Paul. I want to know if he's going to be on
when he did the
mushrooms.
exhibition with Roy Jones a couple years back. He said that he did mushrooms before the fight.
Absolutely. He probably do twice as many mushrooms on this fight. That guy's a fighter, Roy Jones. This guy's Jake Paul. I still don't believe it.
I don't, bro. It's crazy, right?
I don't believe it.
I don't know, man. Jake Paul's been he's been doing the damn thing. Like I've been a Jake Paul hater for years, man. But he has been doing the damn thing, and it's been sad to see him just knock out these dudes. I don't think he's gonna knock out Tyson, but he's a young dude, man. He's a young dude.
I don't know. I've been watching their videos, bro. Tyson might knock this dude out.
Tyson not going to.
I hope he does.
This dude out.
Listen. Don't get it twisted. I hope he does. But anybody can get touched.
I think,
you know,
oh man, the internet's gonna go crazy, bro. If Tyson knocks him out, the internet is gonna be crazy. Jake Paul is gonna be the meme
I might take a hiatus, man. You know,
Jake Paul's gonna be
out. Like everybody, he's gonna make this whole thing crazy. Like, oh man, like
that's all bad.
This might spark off the Civil War.
It might. Hey, you're right. It could.
It might be a win for Trump. This whole thing might be just be a win for Trump.
Trump would be the only person that could bring everybody together.
He ain't got to do nothing. On that note, thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen, our live audience and online supporters, catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, our sponsors keeping the lights on, our AV struggle to a minimum. Of course, Adam behind the scenes remotely feathering the shit out of his hair. Ooh, so frothy.
Stop the cap.
Feathers.
As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason we show up to read these headlines every single day. Thank you. It has been Tuesday. Talk about it Tuesday. A very spicy one, I might say. So myself, March 19th, 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until hump day tomorrow. Oh, yeah. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. The chocolate and caramel special, if you will. And also the dopest dad in these streets. We're gonna give this one to Chris. You gonna leave us with a word of positivity today, Chris?
Absolutely.
Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me, man. I just want to say for all of the people here that are going to view, as well as the viewers, take the blessing first of all of the show. Even if you tap in real quick, grab some of it before you leave. And absolutely remember that the only reason a man is the sum of his own thoughts. So if you don't think you're great, that's why you're not great. That's it.